Sorcerers! Josh here, and I had a great weekend. For those of you that don't know, the first event of the Explorer series happened on March the 22nd up at Mythic Forge Gaming in Madison Heights, Michigan. Had a great time. 24 people showed up for the sealed event. Lots of great games, lots of entertaining games as only sealed or a draft environment can provide. In addition to that, I was gifted this wonderful deck holder by Kyle, better known as Razal Ghul on the Discords for all of you. This was custom made for me. Look at that. Is that not awesome? Love it. Thank you, Kyle, again. And then also up at the event, Brian Wackwitz was there. So he, being the cool man that he is, did his signature, did a little frog on the side for me. So thank you, Brian, for doing that. Love it. It's going to be sitting up here in my shelf, probably for quite some time. I don't know if that one will ever move. That may become a permanent structure. But on top of having that great weekend, engaging in sorcery, judging sorcery, I got to judge the first 5 rounds of the Swiss. Started at 3. I misread the start time. I thought we were starting at 1, and I had to be home before Sunday, so I could not judge that final round. And because of that, or the top cut, basically. So did the 5 rounds. That was that. And then moved on, and I went home. But I'm sure they finished up the top 8 fine without me there to judge. But then today, after already coming off a great weekend of sorcery, we get this huge announcement. This amazing announcement. And no, I'm not going to talk about the beta reprint announcement, because right now, it's happy times in the realm of Itza. And that's what we're going to focus on. Organized play is here. Finally! The thing that many of us have been asking for, myself included, finally we have the structure for organized play. And I have to say, looking at the structure, I'm pretty content. The prizing overall is excellent, but on top of just the full announcement of organized play and what it is, we got some spoilers, we got all sorts of great things, all sorts of information, a new artist, so many things to talk about. So this video is probably going to be a little bit longer than usual, but let's talk about the organized play itself. So the first big thing, cornerstone events. So you got cornerstone events, which are basically store championships. Obviously, the cornerstone of organized play. Go and apply for your store right now. It sounds like the number of cornerstone events is going to be rather limited, at least initially. So I would get your store in early if you can. Go out there, do that right now, make that application. Talk to your store about making the application, whoever needs to do it. Get it done. But if your store is fortunate enough to be selected for this cornerstone event, you are then going to be able to host a store championship and get a cornerstone kit that has tons of cool prizing. Now, what's very interesting about the whole organized play structure is that Erik's Curiosa has been very clear on how the prizing must be distributed. I'm okay with that. I know that some folks like the idea of being able to add more or that type of thing, but, and who knows, maybe you can add more. I don't know if that's the case where they're like, no, we want these events to strictly be this prizing structure. I don't know if you can add more potentially or not. But what we know right now is we're going to have these prizes for the cornerstone event. So first off, the dust is going to be doubled for any cornerstone event. I think that's awesome. Everyone that participates in a cornerstone event is going to get an alternate art dispel that uses a cool piece of art for a counter spell that was originally potentially going to be in the game but was then removed. In addition to that, there are some random prizes. Dispel mats. I think there were 2 of them at every cornerstone event. Going to be handed out at random. So just come to the event. You might get one of these cool Dispel alternate art mats. Really neat. If you make the top cut, you're going to get a foil copy of that same Dispel alternate art. And then in addition to that, If you're the champion, you're going to get the Cornerstone playmat plus a prize they haven't announced. So we don't even know what that top prize is going to look like. Who knows what it could be? Obviously, just looking at this little set of prizes, Erik Curiosa is pulling out all the stops to make these events amazing and make you want to take the time to go contest the realm. But then beyond the Cornerstone events, we move on to the Crossroad events. The Crossroad events are 4 times the dust for being in them. 4 times. Plus, this is it, the big artist announcement. You show up at a Crossroad event, you are going to get a foil alternate art tower done by the new sorcery artist, Atlas Thorn. Obviously, Mike over at Collector Art House has been touting Atlas for longer than I can recall, because he talks about so many artists. I don't remember when he stops and when he starts and when he stops. So Atlas has finally entered the ranks of sorcery artists. So to those of you that managed to pick up his APs early, congratulations, because I think the premium for those things might jump a little bit. But very cool. Just participating in Crossroads, you get a foil tower done by Atlas Thorn. Awesome. Lone, dark, gothic, one of them. Very cool just for coming and playing in the Crossroads event. In addition to that, more random prizes. 8 arcane barrage mats and 2 prints. I didn't see them say what the prints were, so I'm not sure. But all that's just going to be given out at random, just at the Crossroads event. Here's this stuff. Just to hand out to lucky winners on whatever the random chance thing is. Very cool. Top 8 are going to get a set of those foil towers. So they're going to get the complete set if you're in the top 8 at one of those major Crossroads events. In addition to that, they're going to get the Crossroads playmat. They're also going to get a print. So very cool. And then there doesn't seem to be a top champion prize for Crossroads. Instead, there's the top 4 prize. And those folks are going to get something that has yet to be named and a foil avatar that they did not display. So that's amazing. That amount of prizing for these Crossroads events. My one little thing that I'm a little concerned about, we've only announced one. Well, Erik Curiosa's only announced one. Gen Con. We know Gen Con is going to be the Crossroads event, probably the first. Other events that I think definitely could end up being a Crossroads events, I feel like these types of events are going to be something where Erik Curiosa isn't in full control of what's going on. So like a Gen Con or a Spiel. But events like that, that's what I feel like these Crossroads events are going to be. Maybe even Sorcery Con. Sorcery Con might end up being one of these Crossroads events. That's something else that I could think. So that would probably be the smaller of an event that could be a Crossroads event, just in comparison to something as massive as Gen Con or Spiel. So that's where I think those are going to end up. I don't know how many there are going to be, but still, I think, or did they say there were 4? I don't know why. 4 are sticking in my head, but I can't remember if that's exactly right. But on top of that, we got the big one. The Avatar of the Realm Championship. And this is the one they gave us the least information on, which is fine. This is a ton of information today. I've been reading through everything. I know I'm going to miss some stuff even in this video, even all the things that I want to talk about. But we do know this. Avatar of the Realm, 8 times the dust just to show up and play. 8 times. That is awesome. Looks like they're going to be giving away the original tower art as well as part of the prizing. So those cool foil towers of Atlas that are in the Crossroads, they're going to give away those original paintings. That's what it looks like. It seems to be insinuated. I'm not sure if that was definitive, but they showed that art and said original art as something to be given away. So that would make the most sense that it would be those things. In addition to that, they mentioned a ton of other things, promos, uncut sheets, all that good stuff. So top level prizing, definitely like what we would see at an event like Sorcery Con, where the prizing was phenomenal. That is clearly what we're going to see at this Avatar of the Realm event, and the location of that event is yet to be determined. Now this one I want to speculate on a little. I've got a feeling that Erik's Curiosa is going to want to have full control at that event, wherever they decide to have it. So I've got to think that maybe, I don't know if they'll make that Sorcery Con. I could see them doing that, but since that's not theirs and they're not in full control, maybe they won't. Maybe they will have Avatar of the Realm Con or something like that. Whatever it is, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure I can go. But Lord, there are so many sorcery events now. And I just keep thinking, we just launched, I just helped launch with a bunch of other guys, Jams and Raz Al Ghul and Golden Eagle Cards and Rootosaurus. And I know I'm forgetting a ton of other people. Just launched this Explorer series. And now we've got all of these cornerstone store championships that we're going to be dropping in on these dates. Now, the good news is I already did the form for my store. And if you haven't done the form for your store, go do it. Like I said at the beginning, go do it now because it sounds like there's going to be a limited amount. They're probably going to pick the best contenders, the best folks that can put on the best events. But just do it. Get your store's name in there now. But if we're going to have this cool Explorer series in the Midwest, and now we got to throw in cornerstone events. The good news is, after completing that form, it looks like they're not starting these until around July through December. So it's going to be later in the year. The Explorer series is going to wrap up in October. So there's going to be some time, hopefully. I really, isn't it crazy that the thing I'm worried about now is there are too many sorcery events? I didn't ever think that would be a problem. And here we are. But I still think our player base is too small right now to support all those events. So we have got to grow the player base. This is definitely a way to do it. Talk about this. Talk about your store championship. Talk about the Crossroads events. Talk about all these things with your communities. Use it to bring in new players. Look at all this cool stuff they're doing now. They're supporting play. And they're even up in the dust rewards, which I have praised dust rewards since the beginning. I thought the dust system was one of the greatest things that Erik's Curiosa actually came up with. The idea that you are rewarding play. I think it's a wonderful, wonderful system. So for these bigger events, doubling the prize of the dust, I think that's awesome. But with all these events, at least here in the Midwest, I don't know how the rest of you are doing, but here in the Midwest, because of the Explorer series, now we're going to have a lot of stores I know, probably some of the same stores having Explorer series events are going to be wanting to have a store championship too. So there's going to be a lot of events to go to. I'm going to try to make as many as I can. I hope you can too. I hope whatever area you're in. I don't care if you're in Europe. I don't care if you're in Asia, Australia, wherever. I hope you have a lot of stores that are going to come together and we can build the sorcery community, because finally I feel like we have some serious ammunition to actually entice people to come and play the game. There's been a lot of great stuff that the community has done, that individuals have set out to do. But this, Erik's Curiosa, finally saying, here it is, organized play to bring out the people, to entice more people to say, you know what, I am going to stick around for this. And the one set year release is fantastic because I don't have to worry about having all these cards or buying all these cards all the time, but I can go play. I can go play. I can go play. Awesome. That is exactly what we wanted. I think that pretty much covers it. Except for one little thing. All of these events are open invite. That was my one thing. I was like, oh, they're all open invite. So there's no structure, right? There's no, if you're a store champion, you get to go to a Crossroads event. If you are in the Crossroads event, you get to go to the Avatar of the Realm. Just show up. I'm okay with that right now. I think that's good. Our player base is small, right? It's not big enough and robust enough yet to have a mega 10,000 player event where you really want to, at that point, be like, okay, guys, you've got to place well in some other lower event to make this top level event, whatever that is. I'm okay with everything being open invite. That makes perfect sense given all of the factors. But I really think this could lead us somewhere. This could really give us a path to grow the sorcery community. And that's what I'm looking forward to the most. We're going to have this this ammunition to grow the sorcery community, to grow the player base, to keep people engaged. That's what we need in sorcery. We need a way to keep people engaged. That's always been our complaints. It's been my personal complaint. I've said it. This is a way to do it. If I know that I can go to several stores over the course of a couple of months, several months, to engage in higher level sorcery play, like a Cornerstone Church Store Championship event, that's inevitably going to bring out some players that are more competitive than casual. Although I do want to stress, of all the TCGs I played, I think that the sorcery community, especially the competitive players, are incredibly friendly, and they are not the type of people who just want to win. That actually just happened in the Explorer Series event I was judging. There was a major misplay. I'm not going to name any names. They came up to me after the game was done and said, hey, this happened. It really impacted the game. And the top person, who was a very good player, he said, you know what, man, I want everyone to have fun. We're going to let it go. And that's what I'm talking about. That is what makes the sorcery community great. And if we can just keep on bringing those people in using this new event structure, it's going to be good. I'm, after having that weekend playing sorcery, well, not playing, but judging sorcery, it felt good. And to have this announcement happen today, man, I'm on a high. And I'm going to talk about the beta stuff later, guys. Today, let's enjoy it. Today, we finally got something that we've been asking for a long time. And man, it looks good. Oh, one last thing. Thank you for a judge promo. Woo! And now, like I pestered Chase, what about the judge program? I know. It was a lot of news today, but I'm really excited for a judge program. So if anyone at Erik's Curiosa watches this to the end, if you could make that judge program an announcement in the near future, you would make me a very happy man, and you'd get another very happy video from me. But that's it for today. It's a great day. Enjoy today. Because Lord knows it's been a bit of a trudge. But today is a good day. Today is a great day in the realm. And as always, keep on contesting the realm.